All right, everybody, thanks for coming. As with normal press conferences, please use the mic when asking a question. And Coach, if you will, just do a quick opening statement on the upcoming season.
Okay, I think, our guys are excited about playing. You come in and practice for a long time, and it kind of gets old going against the same guys. So I know that those guys are excited about playing, and I think I think it's the 19th of February or something. So we look forward to getting down to the desert and playing some baseball.
Pat, how do you feel about all of the high accolades? It's very consistent about the high rankings for your team this year.
Yeah, people compile all this stuff, about who's returning and who, you have coming in and what you did last year, and those things are all okay, I guess. I don't really pay a lot of attention to them, a whole lot. I think, to me, if you look at our league, I think it's really, really good from top to bottom, and probably could put several teams in that conversation. It just depends on how you play the game, and I think it's nice for our program and our kids to be honored and recognized like that, and I think that hopefully that they, also understand that there's a lot of things that go along with that. One of them is actually playing like you're one of the top 10 ranked teams in the country, and I'm not positive we've got to where we want to be.
If you were feeling really good about a team, would we know it?
Probably in sometime late June, you might know. I like our players' work ethic. I think they work hard. I think we've got a bunch of good guys. And I'm just really not sure if they've figured out what you got to do to win baseball games. I think there's days I come to practice and I feel like that we're a really good team. There's days I come to practice and there's not the same consistency level, I don't think. And they'd probably agree with you there. I think one day they play the game well and the next day they don't. So it's just hard. It's just until you really get out there, because you got to play so many new guys. It's just really hard till you get out there and actually play to really know what you have. But I do like the fact that our guys work hard. I do like the fact that we've got probably more depth position-wise we've ever had before. We have more versatility within our players, and I think we have guys that are willing to play more in one position.
Have you already decided on a set rotation for Monday or Friday through Sunday starters, and what do you expect out of your pitchers this season?
Well, the only guy that I can tell you is going to be a starter is Drew Rasmussen, and he'll throw the first game. And after that, we got two or three guys that we like. Sam Tweet was a guy that we won't have this year. He was a guy that we projected to be our number 2 starter. And so I think we're really wide open to anybody that'd like to step up and take that spot. Haven't really seen anybody. Travis Eckert is better, and he pitched in the 3-hole last year. That's certainly an opportunity for him. It's an opportunity for Luke Heimlich. It's an opportunity for Christian Martinek. It's there's a lot of people there, but we have not had any thoughts on who our rotation would be beyond Drew Rasmussen.
And Coach, does that also include just how the bullpen will be set up? Are these just a lot of questions right now that you're going to try to find out answers to, how the bullpen goes?
Yeah, well, we're really happy that Max Engelbrecht's healthy. I think Max is a guy that we perceive being at the end of the game somewhere. I think that it's kind of nice to have maybe an option to have a left-handed guy finish the game or a right-handed guy finish the game. I think Max can pitch in any capacity if we wanted to, and get him, if we wanted to get him up in pitch counts, I think he could start. We're not planning on doing that with him. We think he's valuable at the end of the game. There's just several guys that have pitched, and obviously we are preparing guys lengthwise to get into starting roles, such as Jordan Britton, who's a freshman, such as Luke Heimlich, Travis Eckert, obviously Rasmussen, Martinek will be in that fold too. So we are preparing those guys to do that. So, it's at the end of the game. We're not extending him right now. So that there are some thoughts on how we're gonna actually use guys in what capacity, but who they are is kind of what's up. And the last thing we do in our program, a lot of people do it different, is you always try to get strong at the front, strong at the end, and then who pitches in the middle is going to be the people that don't have that opportunity to pitch at the beginning of the front.
Man, have you really been here 22 years?
In this room?
No.
Yeah, I have. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Well, I've been here for most of them, actually.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, at this time of the year, you talk about the players coming back. It doesn't really matter what the record was last year.
Right.
Is part of what brings you back every year and what you really like is putting together like the puzzle, starting fresh?
Well, I would certainly like to have a puzzle that I'm familiar with when I start putting it together. And so, I mean, like, I feel good about the fact I know what KJ can do. I know what Mo can do. I know what Logan can do. I know what Raz can do. I know what Hammy can do. I know what some people can do. Now, whether they actually do that and they actually take their game to another level. In other words, when somebody is recognized as being a good player, or some team is recognized as being a good team, there actually has to be something. You got to take care of business. You got to elevate your game to continue to be that player, because other people are gonna want to take you out. If you're a team that wants to be ranked in the top 10 in the country, better be prepared for everybody to play you like you're a top team in the country. Some guys figuring that out. Some guys will. They haven't yet, and some of them are doing a great job with it. Some of them need a little encouragement. But yeah, I like that part of it. I like figuring out who can play where. I think it's really behooves a player, the guy that can play more than one position, if he's able to play beyond this level. I mean, Darwin Barney was arguably one of the best shortstops in America, and the very first thing they did was, sell him a different side of the bag, and the guy's Gold Glove winner in the Major League Baseball is a second baseman. So where they play when they get there, that's up to them. But I think if you can play third and you can play second, really good. If you can play third, second, center, really, really good. If you can catch and play third and first and center field, then you're really special. So I mean, we just try to create some diversity within our players. They've done a good job with accepting that. We're looking for people that want to hit in the middle of our order, and those are people that are, to me, are the guys that aren't afraid to handle pitches, drive in runs, do what they're supposed to do. So there's certainly more candidates to do that this year than maybe we've had in years past.
And Pat, you mentioned Darwin Barney. It just seems like months ago, or Conforto was here, and here he has 2 home runs in the World Series.
Yeah.
How much does it mean to you to see your former players do that, and how much ultimately does it help the program when year after year we're seeing more and more Oregon State players either in the majors or on the way there?
Well, I know it helps the program. There's no question. I think people want to come here because they want to play in Omaha. I think people come here because they want to have a big league career. I think that we've been fortunate enough that's been something that we can tell people that's happened. The reason that particular time of the year is so important to me is because somebody every year asks me, who was your favorite team? And I tell them the same answer. It's the team I'm coaching, and I mean that. So the fall time when we're not in a competitive situation, where we're practicing and doing fall ball and teaching, it's so unbelievable to watch those guys play baseball. And, I'm a college guy, so during the summer when they're in game 100, I just follow our guys. I don't really watch professional baseball. I'd rather go watch a high school game than sit and watch the Braves play the Phillies, And so I follow our guys. I know what they're doing, and I'll shoot them a text every once in a while, and I'm into the guys I'm coaching.
Pat, you talked about the versatility. You got so many new faces and some returners, and not quite sure where people are going to play in pitching. How important are the first couple of weeks for you guys? I know you always say the players make the lineup, but to give guys opportunities to show what they can do stepping inside the white lines.
Well, we're giving them that opportunity right now, and we gave them that opportunity in the fall. And there are guys that are recognizing that and doing a very good job, and then there's guys that are not recognizing that and not doing a very good job. And so I really don't know what some of them are waiting for, because when you go out and face Drew Rasmussen, when you go throw to Logan or KJ or Mo, you're throwing to a real hitter. You're playing in a real situation. I mean, our first game happened a long time ago, and I don't expect us to go in there and try to figure things out as a team. I mean, obviously people will shine and do some things like that. Novak was one of those guys last year. He was, I don't know what he was thinking about in the fall. I was going to send him out for cross country, but we didn't have it for men, so I kept him. And Unfortunately, he's back, so, you know, I got to put up. No, but I'm just saying is, you know, I mean, he really took advantage of the fact that when the competition, he excelled. You know, however it worked for him. It took him that time. Other guys, you know, I think Logan and KJ are both here, and so's I think Nobi. But those guys shouldn't be waiting around for the first game to get it on. You know, the higher level you play at in practice, the higher level you got a chance to play at in a game, in my opinion. And like you said, I've been here 22 years, so I've been doing it for 29. So I got a pretty good idea that there's some guys that are going to get knocked down and some guys are going to handle it. So,
are there any freshmen, incoming freshmen, that you're trying to get onto the field, you know, as much as possible?
Yeah. Well, I don't try to get really anybody on the field. They make me put them on the field. There's some guys that are very good players in that freshman class, and I know if I start naming them, I'll forget them. But, you know, I've been very, very impressed with several of them. Trevor Larnick, Stephen Kwan, Nick Madrigal, Jordan Britton, Caden Grenier. And like I said, I'm sure, I'm positive there's somebody that I'm forgetting. Andy Atwood's been good at times. So there's a lot of those guys. And every year we play, every year we have a freshman that's All-American or All-Pac-10 or what are we, 12 now? I don't know. But every year there's freshman guys that do it and they excel and that'll happen again this year. Who it is and where it happens and how quick it happens, I don't know. But we're playing freshmen every day in our inter squads. Some of those guys are top-notch guys. And one thing in that class about those guys is they're very versatile. Those infielders can play anywhere in the infield. Those outfielders pretty much can play corner outfield. Those guys can play first base, and Kwani can play anywhere in the outfield.
Just, you know, given those freshmen, I mean, you've had people like KJ, Drew, and then even Logan a couple years ago who came in and contributed right away. Does having guys like that still on the team help the current crop of freshmen who are coming in looking to contribute immediately as well?
I believe it does, yeah. And I would think that you know, and we got good guys. I mean, you know, when you're a coach and you're doing what you're doing and you're trying to get your club to excel, and you know, sometimes you know you don't give them enough credit for kind of kids there. We got great kids, and I still think you can be a great kid and go out and be really, really, really competitive. So I would expect our guys that had success last year to help the guys that are freshmen learn how to be competitive. That's the one thing that the guidance of being competitive. What does it mean to be competitive? What does it mean to be competitive all the time? What's Case like in the dugout? You know, what's those kinds of things. You know, being comfortable in a game is important to me. You know, I think that the game is for the players and the practice is for the coaches. You know, you get into a game, it's pretty hard to, you know, start breaking it down for them, and there are times you do that out of frustration, but for the most part, we let our guys play, and we fortunately as coaches don't have to go across the white line and get in the fray. So I expect leadership out of our guys. That's been questionable. We got captains. They need to do a better job. I think they know that. I think they want to do it. I think part of that's feeling comfortable doing it, and you know, I'm really not that excited about going down and getting my brains beat out before a guy decides, okay, now we need some leadership. So I've been trying to, you know, impress upon them that they need to get it done. They need to do a good job of it. What they do behind closed doors in the locker room, I don't know. They might be doing a great job of it. They might be on the field, questionable. What they're doing in the locker room, I don't know. They got a nice locker room, a lot of room. So, like I said, being a nice guy and having the responsibility of being a leader, you better understand that.
Who are your captains?
We got 5 of them, so I might need some help naming them. But Logan Ice, Drew Rasmussen, KJ Harrison, Max Engelbrett, and Kyle Novak. Those 5 guys were their teammates. Generally, we don't have that many captains, but the voting for people, those 3 of the 5 were just 1 vote apart. So I asked the 2 guys that had the most votes. I said, "How do you guys feel about that? What do you want to do? You guys make a decision." Said we'd love to have more eyes on it, more voices, and so we got those 5 guys. Every one of those guys is capable of being a leader that can help other guys become a better player. Some of those guys maybe have never been in that position before, but you know, I challenge them all the time to take that role as being a leader. People don't want to be leaders because you're going to be scrutinized. You just are. I mean, you know, it's if you're in a position of authority or you're in a position of, you know, leadership, takes more. You know, you can take more bullets, and you got to be willing to do that.
You talked about the depth and versatility of your roster. Is there a set time frame that you have in your mind of when you'd like to get everything settled as far as your lineup going into Pac-12 play?
The day I turn the lineup card in on the 19th of February is the day that everybody's going to know who I'm going to start. Because, to be honest with you, we've had some injuries that we didn't expect, and when one guy gets injured, you may have to move another guy to a position which could, you know, be kind of a domino effect. And in other words, if you have a corner outfielder that's down and he may not play, you may have to move a guy that was going to play first base, let's say, to right field, or you might have to move a right fielder to first base or something like that. So, you know, we'll fully expect those people, Logan Ice, Kyle Novak, Timo, KJ, those guys that started for us last year, there's no reason those guys shouldn't be in the starting lineup. I fully expect them to be in the lineup. And but when I don't know how guys like it or not. I'm kind of a throwback, you know. I mean, I know guys now electronically send the deal. Sometimes our guys are laughing because they're getting the lineup card from Hank through however you use these things, and they take pictures of them. They take pictures of them in my office now, and they get the lineup, and then they shoot it up to the press box, and those guys somehow intercept that so they know they're in the lineup. That's a true story, isn't it? So I'll try to do a better job of getting it up there a little bit earlier. But really, honestly, I won't announce the starting lineup until that day, and keep the bus clean, you know.
And you just mentioned a couple injuries. Any that you expect to, you know, bleed over into the start of the season?
You know, I don't know. I got to get updated on that a little bit. You know, Trevor Larnick's been a guy that's got had a little foot issue, and he's been limping around. We got him in a boot right now. You know, Elliott Carey's a guy that had Tommy John in the summertime, and he's doing great. Don't know when that time frame is. So just, you know, things like that. And guys are, you know, if you can't go, you can't go. I think the injury thing is you know, there's a lot of injuries in college athletics now, so we've got to get that cleaned up.
Pat, you mentioned the 19th is when we'll know. Is there a time when you want to know so you can work guys in as a group?
Well, you know, I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask the guys how they feel about it. I think they like the fact when they come to the yard, when you enter squad, you know, the teams are different. You know, sometimes we played that black and orange series, and that was fun. And but I don't think we've ever just ran a team out there that said this is our starting lineup. And right now we don't have the freedom to do that because we've got some guys nicked. So we actually have a couple guys that play on both teams as far as defensively, and they kind of rotate around. But I don't. Like I said, I fully expect the thing that, for me, and I know everybody's different. I expect my Friday night guy to be a Friday night guy. I expect my 3-hole hitter to be a 3-hole hitter. I expect my shortstop to defend. I expect my catcher and center fielder to defend. Where you win games is when Chris Kunda shows up and, you know, the guy's a defensive player of the year. Or Ryan Gibson leads the league in on-base percentage. You know, Petey was like that. You know, Andy Peterson got on base, made Michael Conforto better. I mean, just no doubt about it. His role was to get on base, defend. Those are the guys that are overlooked. You know, it's just, you know, we got some guys that got to hit. We got some guys that got to get some guys out, and it's the guy that you don't expect that makes the whole thing come together. And every year it seems like there's a guy that does that. There's a guy that, you know, look at Logan when he was a freshman. I don't even know what year is that. When were you a junior now? So when he was a freshman, you know, he wasn't even our starting catcher. And then we had an issue with a guy, so we set him the first 5 games, and Logan was like, wow, this guy's going to be good. And so, you know, what he did was he made us so good because he knew he didn't have to. We weren't expecting anything out of him offensively, even though he had a fairly good year. And he was so good behind the plate that it made us so much better as a staff. Now you look at his role, and he can't afford to be the same guy. He's got to hit. And he can hit, and he has hit. He's had a great fall, great spring. And so, you know, somebody's going to surprise us. There's going to be somebody roll out there, the Max, you know, Gordons of the world and those people, and there's going to be somebody roll out there and help us out and make us a better team. And that's the key is, you know, it doesn't matter who's supposed to be good. it's whether your team's good and whether you win baseball games. And I said this at our Diamond Dinner the other night. Everybody's afraid of this. I call it the red ribbon theory, Everybody's going to feel good, so we're not going to hand out ribbons anymore because we don't want anybody to finish second or third. They might go home and be scarred for the next 20 years. And I just think that when they start tearing those scoreboards down and quit keeping score, then we'll quit worrying about who wins games. But I'll tell you what, it is okay to go out there and say today, the most important thing when we actually put our uniforms on across the white line is to win the game as far as what we're doing at that point in time.
Gary was kind enough to point out to you your longevity here, perhaps your age.
Yes.
But do you still got the fire? You still are you any different than you were 22 years ago?
Yeah, I think trust me, I got the same fire. It's just you handle a little different, I might not be rearranging locker rooms anymore, but I think I do a pretty good job of handling the aggressive style of which maybe that I like to coach. But when I lose the fire, I'm getting out, because then I'm cheating my guys. Got great guys helping me too, man. I'll tell you what, when you have guys like Jinx and Bales and Nate and Jake and Petey and all those guys, T. Graham helping you, it makes it a lot easier. 22 years ago, I think I was driving that van to Portland State and then taping the guy and, stealing a couple baseballs underneath the stadium to throw BP. So things have changed there, but I haven't, the way I go about it, it's the same for me. I do handle the entire season better. I don't. I go ahead and eat now when we lose, and so I don't know. I just I listen to the guy. The guy from Cal is a great guy. Dave Esker says on paper, Oregon State. Really on paper, I think he's got the best team. If you really want to get down to paper, because. Nobody has more starters back than them, and nobody went further in the tournament than them. And so, I guess if we were going to play paper games, then we're okay, and they're okay. But this is about real guys going out and doing real things, and that's the part that I like. To be honest with you.
Pat, when you talk about the aggressive style, could you speak about team speed this year and what you may have up and down your lineup?
Yeah, well, we got some more guys that can run. And, being able to run in the right direction and get to where you're supposed to go, or, we want to be aggressive. Probably, that's probably an area that we've improved as much as anywhere, and that is that we can run. We got some guys that can run. As you well know, you've seen most of those guys play. And so I would like to be able to think that we could do some more things on the bases, and like to think we could steal some more bases, get some runners started, play a little more aggressive. I like our Christian Donahue. He's got stronger, faster, better. Nick can run, Grenier can run, Elliott can run, Quaney can run, KJ and Ice. No, not there. But Noby can run when he's healthy. We just got some guys that can run. So that's good. Good team speed, good balance, good guys that should hit in the middle. We're going to defend. If you don't defend, you don't play. You do, you DH, but they only give us one of those. So
Speed on defense, too.
Speed on defense should be able to run down some balls in the outfield. And then it depends on who you want to play too. There's different people. Trevor Larnach, for example, is a big guy, and Quaney's a little guy, so you wouldn't expect one guy to be running with the other guys, but you make up for it, what you do, how you get jumps, how you get reads, and so I don't know. It's frustrating to me to wait to play, kind of sometimes, and try to make guys know how important it is to get better and how quickly. Because once you start playing, you don't practice. You play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday you have to take off. Tuesday you have a midweek game. Wednesday you practice. Thursday you travel. You get 1.5 days of practice a week. You just don't get. You got to stay sharp. So we got to get to where we're going, and I just have not seen the sense of urgency in certain situations that guys understand what that actually means and what we have to do. And we have enough people that have been here that should do a better job of making sure that everybody else is aware of that. And I think that they will. It's just it needs to get going here pretty good, pretty quick.
Pat, maybe the most prominent addition this year is the video board to the stadium. I mean, do you ever think back, given your length of time here, to what the field and stadium was like when you arrived? Kind of how much has changed over that period of time?
That's one of the things I probably think about as much as anything, because I used to drive out there in these little gators with 5-gallon buckets and a shovel, and then I'd dig a hole and I'd put a coffee can and I'd fill the coffee can with water till the buckets were full, so I could get as many in these back as I could. Then I'd go out in the parking lot and dump them all and come back in and fill those holes with sand, and then we'd play games. And yeah, all the time, and I'm thankful for those people that have made that such a special place. And I don't think the people would do what they did wasn't the players performing the way they perform and playing the way they play. So hats off to the players and those that have contributed. The scoreboard's awesome. Stadium's awesome. Locker room, good things happening.
I just wanted to ask you about Sam Tweed. Could you go into a little bit about what happened? Did he have the Tommy John?
Yeah, I don't even know the whatever privacy rules they have about medical. I just know he won't be here for the season, and it's due to the fact that in the summertime he was, something didn't work out for him, so he's out for the year.
Okay. With him, you just wait till next year. He hopefully comes back. Does he redshirt, come back as a sophomore?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep, Red Shirts comes back as a sophomore, and off we go.
Anybody else?
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Pat.